All right, mathletes far and wide, we are ready to break into the world of proportions. I'm not sure the camera is 100% close enough for you to read this, but it says a worker uses 450 inches of steel wire to make 300 springs of the same size. At this rate, how many inches of steel are needed to make one spring? So, what I know at the very beginning is that 450 inches of steel is enough for 300 springs. And so I'm going to go ahead and write that. And I'm going to say 450 is 300. And at first that looks completely ridiculous because most of us know that 450 is not 300. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the labels underneath. So this is 450 inches of steel, and this is 300 springs. So think about this. The metal that's in 450 inches of steel is the same as the metal that's in 300 inches or 300 springs. So this much metal equals that much metal. It would be super confusing to put the labels way down here unless we had a sneaky reason. What it's asking us is at this rate, so this is true, use that, check. How many inches of steel? This is a variable. The how many, and I could put any letter I want. I could put S for steel, I could put I for inches, I could put W for whatever this number is going to be. I don't know yet. A lot of times we use X. And we're going to say X is 1. And so again, X is the inches of steel. So I put it on the left side here. And springs is 1. So if I can figure out what on earth X is, then this statement is also true. This much steel and this many springs is the same amount of metal. So here's what proportions do. Proportions take these two true statements, and instead of two different equal signs, we just have one equal sign. And so now we have an equation that I can solve. And so I see X here on the bottom, and I know that's no good because I want to know what X is, not what X is when it's on the bottom of other stuff. And so normally I would do opposite operations, but here the X is the thing being divided. So it's going to get a little tricky. If you want, we could do opposite operations, but what we could also do is a sneaky math trick called the butterfly method. So if you've ever seen a butterfly, you know that it has wings. Zoop, zoop, and doesn't totally exactly look like this, but just play along. The equal sign, the body of the butterfly, always stays between the wings, whether it's the top part of the wings or the bottom part of the wings. And then the left side here, the bottom part of the wing becomes the bottom right times the top left. 1 times 450 is 450. The right bottom of the wing, so this part of the butterfly picture being used awfully loosely, I know, is the bottom left times the top right. X times 300 is 300x. Remember, if we're multiplying, we don't even need a symbol. We don't need anything between. Numbers written next to letters mean times. Now this equation, I could totally use opposite operations. So what I'm going to do is divide both sides by 300, because the opposite of multiplying by 300 is divided by 300. And on the right side here, you can see the 300 divided by 300 is 1. So I'll just have X by itself. And then the equal sign, it's going to be this fraction. Now, because I have a multiple choice, I could pretty much figure out which of these answers it's going to be already. 450 divided by 300 is bigger than 1. 300 divided by 300 is exactly 1. I've got a bigger number divided by a smaller number, so there's no way it could be any of these small fractions. So this multiple choice test makes it way too easy. I know already the answer is J, but let's take a look at some other tricks for how to divide this. If both numbers end in a 0, I can cancel out that 0. So let me grab a canceling color. Zoop. And now I have 45 over 30. And that's too squished up for you to read correctly. But when I said 45 and I said 30, you hopefully recognize those were both multiples of 5. 5, 10, 15, 20. Anything that ends in a 5 or a 0 can also be divided by 5. So I could also divide both by 5. 45 on top divided by 5 is 9. 30 divided by 5 is 6. And now we can see here, we divide by 5, that I have 2 multiples of 3. So I can divide these again by 3. Divide by 3, which gives me a 3 on top and a 2 on bottom. And if I'm not sure about how to turn that into a mixed number, that's another lesson for another time. There's also a way to get straight from here to here in a single step called greatest common factor. And again, another lesson at another time. I'll toss that at you and try to boggle your minds. So the next problem here, and let's get pink because that looks like the least cluttered color. The next one says that Jose paid... Oh, what on earth? Hi! Nah, nah, nah. Wow, SpongeBob? Yes, I am definitely SpongeBob. Nah, nah, nah. Really, 'cause you look huge. Oh no, this is my regular size. Nah. Is it really? Because you were here last week and you were not even close to this big. Do not doubt me. I am SpongeBob. Nah, ha, 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 ha. All right, look, I can see a hinge right here on your mouth. No, no, don't. Pay no attention to the microbe behind the curtain. Plankton man, what are you doing? I'm not a man. That doesn't make it any better, you little microbe. Come here. No! Tell me you didn't build a giant SpongeBob robot out of spare parts to try and steal the Krabby Patty formula. Well, if I did, it's none of your business. Yeah, well, wouldn't it be just less work to, make a recipe that people didn't hate? That's ridiculous. All right, well, it doesn't even bother you to be a complete villain? Of course not. I love being a villain. I'll make you a little deal then, microbe. You help me do the rest of this, and I will help you get the Krabby Patty formula. Fine. All right. Read that question to me. I can't read. Well, you said you're going to help me. I can't read. The words are like twice the size of my body. I'd have to run a half a mile to get this whole sentence read. All right, fair enough. Here, you stay over there. Jose paid $47 for 4 movie tickets. Each ticket cost the same amount. What was the cost of each movie ticket in dollars and cents? That's ridiculous. Who would go to a movie? Look, you said you were going to help. So, first question is, how are we going to solve this? Who cares? Well, if you want the Krabby Patty formula, you care, little man. I'm not a man! All right, a little microbe, whatever. What are we going to do? Well, it seems like you could do the same thing you did up there. All right, you got nothing. All right, never mind. I can do the same thing up there. Ow! Sorry, Plankton. $47 is 4 movie tickets. Toss these labels down on the bottom. Dollars, movie tickets. And it says, what was the cost? So this dollar column, That's the one that I don't know. And so I'm going to put C just to change it up a little bit. C is, well, how many tickets am I talking about? Each movie ticket. Not tickets with an S. Oh, not, excuse me, sorry, Plankton. Here, breathe a little better over there. Not that I even want to. So we got one ticket over here. Now again, the left side and the right side are labeled on the bottom. That means that if I messed up and I put the 1 over here, this wouldn't make any sense at all, because I'd be saying $1 is the cost of C tickets, and that's not what this question asks. It asks each ticket costs how much. So I'd say always label the bottoms and make sure that you're lining them up correctly. Dollars on one side, tickets on the other side. Up here, same thing on the left side, same thing on the right side. Had it lined up correctly. Next step is we're going to turn these into fractions. We're going to turn these 2 equal signs into 1 equal sign, and we'll break out the wings. Wings? What good would wings do you? It's called the butterfly method, Plankton. Butterfly? No, I don't get it. It's called the stingray method. No. Well, that makes more sense. Continue. Bottom right times the top left. Put it underneath these labels here. That's 47 times 1. It's just 47. Bottom left times the top right is going to be 4 times C. Wait, you didn't even write the times. Yeah, I don't have to, Plankton. A number written next to a letter means times. Well, that's too easy. That's math. It's supposed to be too easy. The easier it is, the more you can do. So, my next step is I got to solve for C. It means I got to get C by itself. The opposite of multiplying by 4 is taking over the world. No, it's dividing by 4. Well, it'd be more exciting if it were taking over the world. I suppose it would. It would also be less helpful. So we're going to divide both sides by 4. Both sides? Yeah, it's an equation. So whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Well, that's how the world should work. Whoever has a Krabby Patty recipe, the other should also have a Krabby Patty recipe. I don't know what to tell you, except you're not being super helpful right now. Why don't you just scoot over here for a little bit? All right, Plankton. So I get here at the bottom. 4 divided by 4 is just 1C by itself. Bloop. And then 47 divided by 4, well, again, I'm going to be super sneaky. 46 divided by 4 is not evenly divisible by 4. 45 isn't. 44 is. Okay. So 44 divided by 4 is $11. And I just ignored $3 for a minute. So I still have to think about that $3 divided into 4 parts. Okay, so that's 3/4. Now I'm thinking, put a little bubble here, thinking the fraction 3/4. Now that's the same as a quarter on the bottom, 3 on top, 3/4. 11.75. No answer choices here. So on the test day, I'd probably want to double check my math, but I'm thinking that is the answer. All right, Plankton, you want to read the next? No, never mind. You don't read questions. Sorry, I asked. Tariq pays $22.10 for 2.6 pounds of salmon. What is the price per pound of the salmon? Wait. I know this. Write an equation. Don't you, Ronald? Write an equation. Oh, right. You're small. Sorry. What equation should I write? It's right here, you buffoon. $22.10 for 2.6 pounds salmon. What kind of a monster are you? We're just doing the math. It's not real. Well, fine. Put it on paper. All right. So I'm going to put $22.10 up here, right? Yes. And don't forget to label it. I should label it up here, right? Of course. Plankton, have you paid attention to anything I've been saying? Well, you said you'd help me get the Krabby Patty recipe. I paid attention to that. Yeah, I did. So we're going to label them on the bottom here and maybe be a little more helpful. Whatever. And 22.10, that is, so I use the equal sign, the price for 2.6 pounds of salmon. So put that pounds abbreviation down there. It says, what's the price? So I look on my price column, and that's where my unknown is. So we'll say P for price of per pound. Where's the number? You don't need a number. It says per pound. I'm trying to help the kids. Kids? What kids? Yeah, we're recording a video for kids. Let me swim up there and check it out. I don't see any kids. Well, you got to find like the lens of the camera. Here? Oh, you're a little close. Right about there. No, I don't see kids. Well, there's no kids inside the camera. I mean, we film it, and then we send it out to the internet. Oops, just blew poor little Plankton's mind. You want to trap me in a net? No, the internet. Never mind. Let's just get back to math, can we? Per pound means 1. It's 1. Oh, yeah, it's 1. Okay, 1 pound. Now, turn these into fractions. Turn these equal signs into an equal sign. And butterfly. I mean, stingray. That's much more sensible. So, over here, I get 22.1. Over here, I get 2.6p. And I forgot to mention it here, even though you saw me draw it. We keep the equal sign between the wings, fins, just like in a real butterfly. Stingray. So then I'm going to divide both of these by 2.6. And I need a different color for that. I, as a sneaky mathematician, am not going to waste my time with all that math. Look, I've got answer choices over here. So if I'm dividing by 2.6 on both sides, then this problem is about 21-ish divided by about 3-ish. So whichever of these is closest to 7 has got to be my answer. Boom, and done. 850 it is. But you can't just do that. You didn't even do the math. Well, if you want to do the math, you can. Well, I don't want to do the math. I'm a microbe. Well, then we're not doing the math. Look, we figured it out. You would just use math to figure stuff out. Oh, yeah. I just showed you. That's brilliant. I'll use math to figure out the Krabby Patty formula. Well, I mean, you can't use math for everything. No, it's true. I can. Listen to me, children. Listen. I, Plankton P. Plankton, will discover the recipe for Krabby Patty formula. I'll watch as my nemesis, Mr. Crab, orders supplies, and I'll know the exact measurements. Oh, goodness. I'm not sure how well this is going to go for me if he actually uses math to crack the Krabby Patty formula. But on the bright side, I do have this giant SpongeBob robot to hold my camera like I did last week. So, question at the bottom for you, a little bit of a challenge. Miranda made model airplanes using a scale in which 0.25 inches represents 2 feet. Which graph shows the relationship? So, put your best high water socks on and roll those eyes, and good luck solving that. Put your answer in the chat below if you figure it out.